Very good.
Welcome
Okay.
to our show, and John is here with me. Um,
Hola, señorita.
I love it. We don't get to see him in person, but he is here. So,
I am here.
yeah, that's
Yes.
awesome. So, as we start our show today for our Brain Power Breakthroughs, we wanted to discuss how important your success is with starting a morning routine. And
Mhm.
when you're in school, you have a morning routine. Either your mom wakes you up or you wake up with an alarm and you do the things you need to do and you go to school. Once you start being an entrepreneur and getting into the business world, or getting into college, going to university, going to trade
Mhm.
school, whatever it is that you're doing for yourself, there is um, power in consistency, and there is power in a morning routine and being able to get your day started right. So I asked John to talk about this a little bit and to help teach us that concept. You're going to show your face.
I will for a
No.
little bit here. It's all good. So, morning routines. Now, and I'm going to go a different approach than what Lori Ann's going to go because my morning routines when I was a teenager and a young adult was all based around athletics. Okay, for those of you that didn't know or don't know or haven't heard me tell my story, I played Division I football at Iowa State University. Played football, basketball, baseball, and ran track when I was in high school. So my morning routines, basically, this is how my day started. At 5:30 in the morning, I would wake up to my alarm clock. I would hit the floor and do certain number of push-ups, certain number of sit-ups. Yeah, I was that crazy ass jock, okay? But I'd do so many push-ups, so many sit-ups, leg lifts, leg curls. I would do all the calisthenic exercises to stay physically fit as best I could. And then when I got done with my calisthenics exercises, I went outside and jogged around. We lived in town, pretty decent sized block. If you look at if you kind of consider your block normal, increase it by half. That's what I had. And so I would do all my calisthenics, go outside, and I would jog around the block twice. Then I would come back home and start the rest of my day, which basically consisted at that time, I would eat breakfast and I was a big oatmeal eater, ate a lot of oatmeal. But I'd eat my breakfast and then I'd start my school day. If I had homework, I started on my homework to finish it up before I'd head off to school. So that was my morning routine. It was all geared around athletics.
So, what time did you wake up?
5:30.
That was the key we were missing.
Yeah.
5:30.
5:30 every day. And I would hit the ground running, doing
Literally.
my, yeah, hit the ground doing my push-ups, sit-ups, and my calisthenic exercises.
And
But
you weren't small. How tall are you? I know we've talked about this.
oh yeah, I'm 6'3" and weigh about 225. So
Yeah.
no, I'm not a small guy.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I was able to play Division I football though too. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Right.
So
So
but
it
yeah,
took a lot of discipline. It took
it
a lot
did.
of, and what made you want to do that? Did you have a goal or something that you were wanting to achieve?
Yeah, and for those of you that are in the NFL football world out there, don't hate me for this, My goal when I was a senior in high school, I chose my goal to become a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. I wanted to play football. I wanted to play a professional sport. Is really what it boiled down to. I wanted to play a professional sport. Um, I chose football because it was the shortest season, time wise, shortest number of games, and made most money. So I thought, okay, if I could work the shortest time frame and make the most money and enjoy whatever it was I was doing, that's what I wanted to do. Well, that's 17, 18 games for football. My dad wanted me to play baseball. I said, Dad, 17 or 18 games in football, 162 games in baseball.
Yeah,
I was like,
I think we've talked about this before.
yeah,
That's a big difference.
yeah. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure this one out here. Okay. So I wanted to play pro football. That's what my driving force was.
Okay.
That's what made me get up out of bed every day at 5:30 and do what I did.
hmm
You know,
So then after you graduated, then what did you do?
mhm. Um, well, I will tell you that by that time, I'd already had a knee injury that
Mm,
basically took me out of football.
okay.
Okay. And so by the time that all happened, I actually started working at a hotel.
Mm,
And a friend of mine worked there as a breakfast cook. And he called me and he said, Hey, you got to come join me, man. He goes, It's a blast. It's easy. It's decent money, but it's easy work and we have a lot of fun. And
You're
so I thought, okay, well, by doing that, that kept my time frame the same. I
Mhm.
was up at 5:30 every morning because I had to be at work and on the grill by 6:15.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, my time frame stayed the same. And I've always been an athletic kind of guy. I've always been kind of a health nut.
Mhm.
And so I just thought, okay, well, if I'm going to keep getting up at that time to go to work, I'm going to keep getting up that time and take care of myself physically. And so I still got up at 5:30 every day and did the same workout regimen that I did.
Impressive.
Yeah. And I will say this much going through what I'm going through right now. I'm grateful I kept that workout regimen because my doctor and my surgeon told me, he goes, you're going to appreciate the fact that you took care of your body so much because that's going to benefit you going through this journey. And I totally believe it has.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I totally believe it has.
So you
So,
instilled that habit early on
yes,
and you kept doing it through your whole life. Like
yes,
5:30 a.m. has been your time to get up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I'll tell you that if I don't get up to work out, like if I'm going before all this happened with my hip, my brain and all that, if I was going on a business trip or going on a trip to a conference or whatever the case was, I didn't even have to set an alarm. I was up at 5:30 anyway.
Right. Right. Because
So
your body gets so used to,
just got used to it.
yeah, used to the
Yep.
routine. So and I know we're talking about morning routine, but
Hmm.
sometimes your night routine has to
Hmm.
kind of play a factor in there.
Yeah.
So let's go into what your night routine was so that you could prepare for your morning routine. That's
Hmm.
that's just taking this to the next level of success.
It is. It is. Before all this happened with my brain surgery and everything, I would I would go to bed like about 10 or 10:30 at night. But before I went to bed, I did a number of push-ups and a number of sit-ups.
Mm,
And then physically would keep doing the work for my body. Now I did a number of yoga poses, but that was to relax my body to be able to go to sleep.
Okay. And did you like look at your next day's schedule? Did
Yes.
you like write anything down? Did you
Oh
like,
yeah. Heck yeah.
did you have a calendar?
hmm Well, I had a calendar on my phone, so I knew what my next day's schedule was. Um, there was a process of a writing practice that I did, and I learned it from who was it? Who did I learn this from? I want to say Zig Ziglar, but he would say, write 5 things down that you were grateful for that happened to you today. And so every night before I crawled into bed, I had these little post-it notes that had 5 lines on them. And I would write down 5 things that I was grateful for that happened that day before I'd crawl into bed. And that made me realize, you know, there are so many things to be grateful for every day. You know, I mean, believe it or not, folks, even with all this going on in me right now, I find 5 things I'm grateful for every day.
Wow.
I do. And some of it has to do with this.
Yeah.
So even though this is all squirrely, I find something to be grateful for about it.
Hmm.
And I use it at night before I go to bed because I feel like for me, getting in the mindset of a gratitude mindset and being grateful for my day and, you know, grateful for my life, I think that puts me in the right frame of mind to sleep comfortably
Mhm.
and to sleep peacefully and to wake up tomorrow in the right mindset.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that Lorianne and I have always talked about during this platform is, creating the right mindset, creating the right attitude. And we've talked a lot about being grateful and we've talked a lot about appreciation and all that. And I will tell you guys, I am a firm believer in the more you can be grateful for, the more God's going to give you to be grateful for. I am a totally firm believer in that.
Yeah.
And so, when I go to bed at night, I talk about being grateful for how my day's been. Today I was grateful because I had 2 visitors today. One was one of my brother's bestest friends that I haven't seen in probably 4 years.
Hmm.
And he traveled 6.5 hours to come see me.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's such a neat guy anyway. So when he showed up at my door, I was ecstatic. I will tell you, I was
Wow.
one totally happy camper.
What a great,
So, yeah. And so, yeah, I have been saying how grateful I am for Jim to show up in my day today a lot. And it's been so cool. It really, really has. Um, I go to bed at night every day saying how grateful I am for this, for the opportunity for Lorianne and I to be on this podcast and share our stuff with you listeners. And, I don't have any idea how many of you listen each day. I don't sit and look at my computer and watch for how many listeners are on each time, but I know at some point in time somebody's listening. And
right.
I'm grateful for that. And it doesn't matter to me how many listeners we have at the time. I'm just grateful that at some point in time, somebody's listening. And I'm grateful for that. And I just hope that I'm doing enough to give you something to be grateful for and to listen more. So,
I
but
I think you've touched on some really, really key things here,
thank you.
in that feeling peace, taking care of your body, um, doing those exercises, starting out with um, starting your evening with some exercise, some gratitude, and then
Yes.
setting that alarm at the right time, at the right,
Mhm.
and setting
And
that.
I'm not telling you all to start setting your alarm at 5:30.
No,
That's that's a hard thing to do right out of the gate. I'll tell you that. It wasn't easy for me to get up at 5:30 every morning when I started that. You
no, but
know,
it was motivating to you because you knew
it
what
was.
you were working for.
Yeah. It was a driving force to what I wanted to achieve. And
Exactly.
yeah. And I'll tell you that, do I wake up at 5:30 nowadays? Nope. But I do wake up between 6:30 and 7:30. And most of the time without an alarm and pretty consistent. And I like that too. I think the key, and I think Lori and I have talked about this many times. The key to anything to be a success is consistency. You've just got to tell yourself that I'm willing to do it over and over and over and over and over again until it becomes a habit. And once it becomes a habit, it becomes second nature to do. It's not so hard anymore. So that's where I'm at now. It's not hard for me to wake up when I wake up now.
Yeah.
So, but it's just a matter of just do it enough and become consistent at it. It becomes second nature, and then it becomes something that you are willing and want to do. And once you get to that point, it's all downhill from there.
And I say it's downhill in the easy aspect, but it sends you soaring uphill in your success rate. And I
That is so true.
I
That
wasn't
is
I
so true.
wasn't like doing anything else over here on the side. I was taking notes because there were some things that John just said that I wanted to put in our show notes so that we really emphasize some of those things that he just talked about. So
Cool.
I think this is a great thing for people to be able to start
Yeah.
small
Hmm.
with anything that John just talked about,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And you don't have to get all exerted out like I did. I mean, start small if you need to. That's fine. But even starting small, I will tell you, stay consistent. Because if you become consistent with small things, you'll grow into being consistent with big things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's the small things that add up that in your daily life that make
Yeah.
everything better. If you do those for 365 days a year
Yes.
and say, like, do the math with that, you have
Hmm.
improved 365% by the
Exactly.
end of the year, just
Yes.
because you are doing these small, simple things every single day.
Yes.
Powerful. I know it sounds simple, like you said, we're on the downhill in simplicity after you start
Hmm.
doing it and put it into practice. And then,
Yeah. Yeah. My coach used to tell me, it ain't easy. It's just worth it. And after a while, I figured out he was right. Because there were a bunch of times that I'd sat there and go, dang, this is so hard. You're right. He didn't mean it to be easy.
yeah,
He wanted it to be hard for me because he knew then I'd take worth in it. I would understand the price I was paying to achieve the goal I wanted to achieve. And sometimes when you have a big goal, sometimes it takes a little bit. So, but a routine, any kind of a routine, as long as you stay consistent with it, will give you results in some manner. Whatever that manner is, that's up to you. Okay. You decide what that what those results are and how you want that to play out. But I promise you, if you stay consistent and you do them over and over, the results, you may get results you're not looking for because they're going to be good for you anyway. But you may see exactly the results you're looking for.
Yeah.
So,
Great success advice tonight.
thank you.
Yeah. Great
Thank you.
job. Well, I know John had said he wanted me to even talk a little bit about my book. And I just
Yes.
I just published this book. And what is your feedback
I
from
love it. I absolutely love it. And here's why. What did I just talk about? Small, consistent steps. All right. What's Lorianne and I talked about a lot on this podcast? Small, consistent steps. Hold that book back up.
The Power of Healing Through Journal Writing.
I will promise you that that book is full of small, consistent steps. But it's such a cool book because number one, it's simple. Okay. This is not a, you know, 700-page entourage of how dissecting how to do journaling from the most minute thought to the most brilliant thought. That's not what this booklet is about. This booklet is about giving you simple guided steps to do two things when journaling. Number one, make it easy. And number two, make it fun. Because I can promise you, I've talked to so many people, and there's two things that I think of when I think of this thing: meditation and journaling. Those are the two things that I've shared with so many clients, and they've always come back and said, I can't do that. I can't do that.
There's a lot
It's
of
too difficult
pushback.
for me.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
pushback on those things.
yeah. But I will promise you, this booklet will take a lot of that, a lot of those issues that you would consider an issue that would give you reason to cause pushback to doing this, and to say, nope, I can't do it. This booklet's full of information to help you get past those feelings and to give you small, consistent steps that allow you to learn this process the fun, easy way. And I totally believe that once you learn something the fun, easy way, number one, you're more inclined to try it. And number two, if you realize it becomes fun and easy, you're more inclined to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And I think, when I look at what Lorianne brought to the table in that little booklet, my total belief is that is exactly what she wrote it for, was to make it something that would be fun and easy so people would actually continue and enjoy doing it and do it over and over again consistently.
Yeah. That was the whole goal, was to do that.
Cool.
And my whole reason behind it is my parents died in a car accident when I was 18. And when we started going back through all of their things, they did not journal. And so I encourage people to do this and have it be part of your morning routine or
Mm-hmm.
before you go to bed. And one
Mm-hmm.
thing that it does say in here is write what you're grateful for. Just make a gratitude journal or just a
Mm-hmm.
simple a piece of a paper like what John said he had, post-it notes
Mm-hmm.
that had lines on it. And he would write the 5 things that he's grateful for before he would go to bed.
Yep.
And I mean, that all of those things are the simple things. And in the book, it talks about the science behind why that makes your brain work better, your body work better, your
Mhm.
just a lot of your cognitive functions, your relationships, your spiritual, your financial, like all these different areas in your life start working better just because you're writing these things down. What you're
Yeah.
grateful for, your feelings, your emotion. Sometimes it's just mind dumping, just blowing up on a piece of paper if you need to.
Mhm. I've done that a couple of times, yes.
Yeah, it works. It helps. So yes, and you can find this book on Amazon. So it is very simple. It's
Yeah.
just called The Power of Healing Through Journal Writing. And I have been promising to write this for a long time. And I finally just
Really?
the end of last year, because I wrote another book called Why the Roses Cry, The Power of Healing Through Journal Writing. So
Oh,
and that
cool.
was all my whole journey through my 18-year-old journal when I went through the journey of my parents dying in a car accident.
Mm. Mhm.
So that is what instigated, because at the end, I had said that I was going to write another book and I promised it. And I did not.
Mhm.
And that I was going to publish a journal. So now I've published the journal and um, the instructions on how to journal, these prompts. I like what you said, the simplicity of making it fun and
Mhm.
making it creative. So
Mhm.
thank you so much, John, for taking the
Oh, you're
time
welcome.
to be here today and to talk about
You're
your
so
morning
welcome.
routine and some things in your life and the things that you're going through, because that's what makes this uh, so different than other shows that I've watched. Is you're going through this brain power breakthrough right now, and you're going through this journey. Yep, you're going through this journey, and we're capturing those things that are important to you and the success tips that you've taught other people. So we love you. We appreciate you. And so glad that you
Love
could.
you too. Mwah.
Thanks. And don't forget to.
Don't forget to subscribe, hit that little bell button so you know when we've got a new episode out, and share this with your friends. You've got friends that are trying to figure out how to journal. Share this with them so they can order that little booklet for them and they can take off on their journey of what it's like to learn how to journal and build their life the way they want it to be. So, yeah, hit subscribe, hit share, hit that little bell. We love you all for listening. Um, if you have questions, don't forget, put them in the comments, or our email addresses are in the notes, the show notes. Send us an email. Oh, we'll be more than happy to answer your questions on the air. Um, and love to share this all with you. And we look forward to our next episode with you all.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.